All right, hello and welcome to Let's Talk the Fab Show, where we explore our fabulous lives, your fabulous life. Today, we're going to be talking about navigating the clickety-clack. What does that mean? How do we do that? How do we remain peaceful? Let's talk. All right, hello and welcome, everybody.
Hi.
So good to have you all here. And hello to our fabulous audience, whether you are with us live or on the replay. We love hearing from you. We love connecting with you. So please do go ahead and say hello, connect with us. Let us know what's coming up for you as we move throughout today's show. And with that, I think we'll just quickly start. Well, actually, let me preface a little bit, right? Because we want to tell everyone just a tidbit of like a tidbit of what Navigating the Clickety-Clack is. Navigating the Clickety-Clack is actually a book series that is turning into a TV series. And so what we have here with us today is we have contributors, speakers, authors that are part of the Navigating the Clickety-Clack books and TV series. And so I think we'll just go around real quickly and have everyone share, say your name, a little bit about who you are, and where you're located in the world. And we'll start with Katie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Katie Dean. I help people reconnect to their true self and find the energy to thrive. And I'm coming in all the way from just outside London in the UK.
So good to have you with us today, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Steph, tell us about you.
Hey, everybody. I'm Steph St. Amand. I'm in the very chilly Winnipeg, Manitoba right now. And I am a spiritual online community director providing spiritual nourishment for the heart, mind, and the soul.
I love that word, nourishment. So good, so good. Okay, and John, tell us about you, where you are.
Hi, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a co-owner of Healing Arts Management, and we essentially do things to help people align with the source of life and claim their birthright of bliss.
Ooh, that's another good word, bliss. Love that. And last but so not least, Michele, you look amazing. Tell everyone about you and where you are.
Thank you so much, Kim. It's so great to be here. I am coming at you from Florida. I'm practicing as a licensed clinical social worker, and I'm very passionate about using all these mental health techniques to support our well-being and reach our dreams.
I love it. I love that we have people from all different areas of, I'll say, healing arts of various forms. And I love that. I love that. Love that. I'm in Southern California. So any Californians, go ahead and say hello. It's a mixture of cold and I actually got warm today. Like, what is that about? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Everyone else, are you all doing okay with the weather? I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now throughout the US.
Yeah, we had a lot of wind here in Atlanta, but the only challenge we had was that a butterfly, stained glass butterfly, fell and cracked, but we still have the frame. Now you can imagine the colors inside of it with your own mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was the only damage. So we're like, yay.
I feel like there's some symbolism in that, John. The fact that it's a butterfly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's a lot of room for change, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, okay. So let's start off with the very simple question of what is navigating the clickety-clack? I'd love for each of you to share in your own words, what does that mean for you? And towards the end of today's show, we'll be able to hear a little bit from the series publisher and producer as well. But I'd love each of you to share your thoughts. Who'd like to go first?
Well, I could go. One of the ways I understand navigating the clickety-clack is just finding ways to work around my inner critic and those nagging negative thoughts that I think all humans have to face, and putting some kind of safeguards around me so that I don't listen to my brain when it feeds me negative thoughts. And being a part of a group of positive thinkers like you all are, and listening to my own body, seeking counsel are all, strategies that I use. But also this deep sensation in my heart space or in my gut space really helps me navigate the clickety-clack.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Michele. And just a heads up, everybody, we'd like to move the windows and screens around, but there might be some little glitches as we move through the show. So just bear with us. We try to make everyone look a little bigger so you can see everyone. So I'm going to continue to do that. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Michele. Who else would like to share their thoughts?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I love that, Michele. I mean, our mindset is so huge. And for me, actually, all the different clickety-clacks that I've navigated through life so far, there's been a common theme that it's actually shifting the mindset is a huge first step. So when the clickety-clack hits, you feel like you've been run over by a bus. You've got all these challenging emotions coming up, and you can feel confused, scared, all sorts of stuff. If you can manage to sort of take a breath and take a step back and see this as an invitation, an opportunity to grow, to learn, to evolve, then that just sort of shifts the mindset from this space of overwhelm to a space where you can access compassion, curiosity, creativity. And that's the skill set that helps you sort of move through with greater ease, which is so easy for me to sit here and say, but it's a practice. So I just want to throw that out there as an idea to practice, and I am still practicing it myself. It's not perfect every time by any means.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you for sharing that, Katie. I'm going to hop over to John. John, I'll put you in the hot seat. What does navigating the clickety-clack mean to you?
I love everything that has been said by Michele and Katie so far. And for me, it also means finding what works for you. Because what I've learned is in navigating different situations, like I can think of so many different ways of finding something that works for me to help me get through and find my way through the chaos or through the storm or through the fear or the grief or whatever it is. There always seems to be some sort of solution that if you can find it, it will get you there. But often the challenge is finding it. And for me, what helps me navigate the clickety-clack most effortlessly doesn't mean it's not difficult or painful or even terrifying at times, but most effortlessly is finding that what I only hear as alignment with the source of life, so that I can access different levels of consciousness and I can find that path in a more harmonious way. It's almost like tuning into a galactic positioning system where I'm literally getting direction from this. I call it mysterious, but it's like these levels that I can't necessarily articulate, but they work and they help me navigate in ways. And it's the one thing I can trust because of practice and because I have done it over and over.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to help other people do. And where I find my solace doesn't mean my fears go away, but it navigates me as I'm taking courageous action in the face of the fear, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And Steph, how about you? What does navigating the clickety-clack mean to you?
Oh my goodness. Again, I was thinking with a GPS system, and then John brings up this beautiful acronym of just GPS. It's navigating the clickety-clack. I mean, we're never going to be away from it because we're human beings having a human experience. And my philosophy, I know it's an inside job. So no matter what clickety-clack is happening, it's happening inside of me. So navigating that is remembering who I am, finding those pieces of me that are in judgment of clickety-clack, and finding.
Hey, Steph, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Your sound is kind of going in and out all of a sudden. I don't know why. It sort of got muffled somehow.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, and now you sound way better.
Interesting.
Freeze!
Here, let me change.
That's better.
That should be the microphone. So
Okay.
now it should be great.
It's
not
good.
Not my headset. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, it shouldn't be my headset. It should be
Okay.
the pretty one that's right over here. So navigating the clickety-clack. See how brilliant? See how brilliant? I mean, all we have to do is find the right setting and the mic gets clear, right? It's what John was talking about when we just settle in and, just trusting. If there's something clicking inside my mind that is trying to get my attention, give it attention. I want to give it attention.
Ooh.
Because I'm worth it. I'm worth all the work I've ever done on myself. I deserve all the good that work has moved me through. And so navigating, knowing who you are, listening to that clack happen and navigating it peacefully and be present for it. If there's a little child inside of us screaming, all it wants is to be heard. So listen, and without reacting, respond. So just navigating, how I navigate is by creating a map to my inner mind and knowing who I am, knowing my values, knowing my boundaries, knowing all the things that all the buttons that I've installed that people just press. Nobody else installed them. I installed them. So navigating that clickety-clack is just learning more about the most interesting mind you will ever come across, which is your mind. You have the magnificent mind. Play with it. Learn why it's screaming at you.
Absolutely, yes. When I hear navigating the clickety-clack, for me, it just distills down to overcoming adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And just like Steph was saying, like there's always going to be something, right? We're human. Life continues to happen and we're more than just our human selves, but we also have to know how to navigate this terrain. I want to share the promo for the TV series, but before I do that, I want to share a little bit about how the producer, Keith, has described what navigating the clickety-clack is. And so in his words, he references a bike. And when you have a 10-speed bike and there's the chain and there's a moment where there's like a pause between one chink on the chain to another chink, and it jumps, right? It has a clickety-clack. He talks about it's your faith. These are his words. You have faith it will eventually catch. So you keep pedaling the bike. Your faith pays off because the chain eventually catches. And when it does, you are off in a better gear. If you are in this uncomfortable space between gears, you are in the clickety-clack.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Oof. So let's go ahead. I'm going to share a trailer for the TV series to just sort of give everyone a little taste of it a little bit more. And then we're going to continue our conversation. So we'll be right back.
In a world where the clickety-clack runs rampant, how on earth are we supposed to stay peaceful, calm, and fearless when the world around us seems to be toxic and crumbling? Fear of losing your job, losing your home, health issues, relationship drama, unexpected death, political upheaval, fear-based news stories, war, anger, and everyday stress.
What are the ways to navigate through the clickety-clack of life?
And how is it that some people can stay peaceful when others would not?
The experts in this series have been assembled to teach you
to navigate through the clickety-clack of life
with grace and ease,
and how to stay peaceful in a seemingly toxic world.
Navigating the clickety-clack, how to live a peace-filled life in a seemingly toxic world. Coming soon.
All All right. So you all you guys have started to share some of your tips, and I just want to kind of extend from, off of what Steph was just saying, and we're going to hear a little bit more from Steph, and then continue the conversation as well. Here we go.
Hey, loved ones. Coming with a tip that I use every single day when I am navigating the clickety-clack that is happening in my mind. I often describe my mind as a monkey juggling hamsters on a unicycle. And so to get into a space where I can breathe easy, I have a 3-breath method. And so when I'm taking a deep and clearing breath, what I do is I think about this. I take a breath for you. I take a breath for me. And I take a breath for the space that's between us. That's better. We do not owe an instantaneous response to anything in our lives, and it's always helpful to take a breath before we respond. I hope that helps.
That was so good, Steph. Who else here is a fan of taking breaths?
Oh my. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just did it with myself there and was like, oh, it's still better. It's still better.
Yeah. What have you all noticed about how you benefit from taking a breath? I'd love to hear just some more thoughts, because it's one of these things that can sound so easy to just dismiss, right? I breathe all the time. Why do I need to actually take breaths? And it sounds so trivial, right? But there's so much goodness here. So what are your thoughts about the benefits of breathing?
I would just love to share the breath is always with us. It's always a tool available to me. And I did breathe with you, Steph, when you were demonstrating. It was a beautiful demonstration. And yes, it elongates the moment. It makes everything more present. It pulls me back in my body. All of a sudden, I'm not just lost in a cognition. I'm using my body. I'm able to sense, oh, I have a nose, I have lungs, I have a belly that I'm breathing all this air in and I'm breathing out. And it makes me so aware that I am a whole being. I'm not just these thoughts running rampant in my mind. I'm the whole package. I'm mind, body, and this invisible, we'll say, soul or spirit. And it fills me with wonder. It fills me with awe. And awe is a far cry from, racing thoughts. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'll chime in on that too. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, John.
We can. You go.
Okay. You got it.
Go for it, John.
So, I was just gonna say, I've heard different people teach on all these wonderful aspects of the breath. Of course, experiencing is the best teacher, right? Like you get to know that wonderful benefits of breathing and mindful breathing, etc. But the only thing I was going to add is the presence, for whatever reasons, when you experience it and you feel it, just by bringing your awareness to your breath and breathing and whatever method you're using, it amazes me how it just, as Michele said, the expansion of your awareness to the present moment. That's what I feel mostly. And I start all my meetings that way. Even before we started this, I did my breathing so things that I want to do intentionally or collaboratively, using the breath to begin and then dropping into other practices after that, I find very helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. And it's actually comes back to our biology and our nervous system, because when we're hit with something unexpected, the nervous system is the system that keeps us safe, and its immediate response is danger, and it will shut down all sorts of areas of the body, including actually our creative part of the brain. So if you've ever noticed yourself reacting to something and then calming down later and thinking, God, I sounded like a 2-year-old. That's because your nervous system had kicked in, shut down all the rational adult elements of the brain, and you've triggered the inner 2-year-old that you haven't yet seen and sort of processed. And that's what's come out in the situation. So the breath is just such a simple tool that, like I think as Michele said, it's in us. We have it all the time to just anchor you back into the body. And from that space, it's like a nervous system, like, oh, okay, we're fine. And you can access the adult rational parts of the brain that can go, right, this is what I'm dealing with. Here are the paths forward. Which one do I want to take now? So it's an incredible tool, and, you know, it's right here in us.
Yeah. I think one of the things that stands out most for me is how it helps us to regain access to being able to think clearly and think, okay, what is my next best step forward? We've got all that adrenaline coursing through and the stress, and we're, you know, maybe freaking out and, oh no, what am I going to do? It makes it really hard to be able to think, wait a second, this is okay. We can do this. Pause, center back in our body. Okay, I can do this next. I can, you know, it's just, it really adds to the moment. Katie, I know this was along what you also had extra to share with us. And so we're going to hear a little bit more from Katie, and we'll be right back.
So next time your day is unfolding calmly, and then suddenly you're hit with something you didn't expect, something that makes you feel a bit like, oh no, under threat, horrible, take it away, don't want to deal with this. By all means, feel those feelings, but recognize them, and then take a breath. And instead of feeling that push it away, don't want to deal with it, what if you could ask yourself one simple question? How might I grow from this experience? So try that and see what unfolds for you. Yeah. So what I was just going to say, I've actually been maybe a little bit sneaky there, in that what I've effectively given you in that little snapshot is like, if you're watching a movie, you've watched the first 15 minutes and then we've skipped to the final scene. Because whilst it's amazing advice to ask that question of how can I grow, what's the invitation, there is a danger of actually bypassing, because the growth comes from actually being in the clickety-clack. And that's where the emotions come forward that you don't really ideally want to experience. Maybe you're having to have difficult conversations with people that you would rather try and sidestep if you could. And, you know, it's absolutely fine to do all of that. The thing is, it's going to keep coming back because it is an invitation to see a part of yourself that you've been hiding from, shoving in a cupboard, trying not to look at. And it's so confronting to experience that. So I also really want to say, sort of, I'm so impressed with anyone who is willing to step into that space of discomfort, navigate those emotions, see the shadow parts of ourselves, have those difficult conversations. And you're not going to get it all right, but every time is a little step forward, and every clickety-clack that you manage to get through is bringing you more tools, more confidence for the next one that comes your way. So it really is a lot about faith and just one foot in front of the other, and remembering those deep breaths in every moment.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue. I really want to acknowledge everybody out there today who can identify, oh my goodness, I think I'm going through a clickety-clack moment right now. And just like Katie said, you're choosing to move through it. You're choosing to find your way through it versus shutting down and not doing anything about it. This is for you. Right? You got it, like courage, bravery.
Courage. Yeah. Courage, bravery. Oh my goodness. Validation. These are the things that we're navigating, really. We're looking for these things because we have all of that in us. and the power and the presence to move through the things that's in front of us that seem like clickety-clack, you know. And I love Katie's stuff here. It's fantastic, because to not bypass the work that we're going through, because there's something magnificent in that work, and it helps us to develop who we are born to be. It's already inside of us, right? Like I think about the entire oak tree. It's magnificent. Years, like decades or centuries worth of shade or sustenance for animals started out as an acorn. The entire oak tree is in that acorn. And just like our fabulousness, our magnificence, it's already, we're born with it. And so when something's in front of us, this is just an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to find out something more about yourself, to find out another layer of release and letting go, to find another button that you get to uninstall. It's the juicy work. It might look like fertilizer, but something wonderful is growing all of the time.
What's coming to mind for me is that every challenge also has a solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And so I hear through Steph is like the answer is within, like we have the answer. And it really brings up this concept of like, what are you believing about yourself and your ability to overcome and all that? What's showing up for you guys when you think about it in that space of like, I have all this within me, I can do this.
The one thing that shows up for me, a piggyback off of Steph's analogy of the acorn and fertilizer, etc. That came up for me this week about, I think there's a scripture from my upbringing, but it talks about unless a chaff of wheat or something falls to the ground and dies, like it doesn't multiply, right? It's like you have to go through this challenge or this adversity to experience the growth. Same thing, the famous, I don't know if it's Buddhist or what, but no mud, no lotus. I love that. Right? It's same analogy or metaphor rather, that in order for us to really find or expand into who we are, we have to go through that cultivation and somewhat of the removal process, the letting go process, the undoing of the limited conditioned thinking and programming that we think we are, the skewed perspectives and all this stuff, in order to break free and really step into what I hear as the celestial blueprint, like what we really are, not what we've been conditioned to believe or convinced we are. And often what we really are and what we're conditioned to believe we are, there's this tension and there's a gap, right? And we can sometimes feel it. And life has this beautiful way of helping us see it, become aware of it, and then finally find the ways to break free of those sort of conditioned chains and expand. So I think I really believe the Clickety-Clack, from what I've seen, and I know a lot of people are going through now, times, and I think astrologically, some of us have heard that these are times designed for us to go through that expansion, designed for us to go through the discomfort. And that's the one thing that I've learned is it's not always comfortable to experience that growth and find the power within, the power within that's connected to the essence of all life. Like it's not often comfortable finding it, but that's what now is designed to help us do.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, what's coming up for you?
Oh, sorry.
Well, the idea of, navigating sort of like the negativity of the thoughts or whatever emotions that we would typically push away and embracing them. I think it was already discussed, like as a friend, like could I befriend something that I would normally push away, like anger or fear or disgust, or something that I just can hardly tolerate. That yes, even me, I have fear. or I have anxiety, or I have these really, really uncomfortable thoughts or emotions arising, and being able to verbalize it with a witness and experience them fully means that they're digested, they're kind of dissipated. If we continue to suppress them and continue to bury them, they never go away. They just, it's like holding a beach ball underwater, and it really tires out our whole system. We're just holding and holding and holding these negativity thoughts and emotions underwater, and eventually a lot of beach balls come to the surface sideways, and that's what sometimes we see in a crisis. So letting one beach ball come up at a time is manageable, and setting yourself up where you have the great witnesses to see who you are in those moments and process that. That's one of the greatest gifts that therapists and healers can offer, is just providing that environment. Just, I don't know what this is, but it's coming up, and I don't know how to tolerate it. I don't even know how to name it. Just having that space.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steph, I cut you off. What did you want to add to that?
No, that's okay. I was just thinking about algorithms, right? Where we live in a very techie kind of place now on this planet, and we're always talking about the algorithms. And we have the power to change our own algorithms. If we don't like what we're seeing, we can change our perspective and literally shift our algorithm to have our experience show up in a way that we do want. We have that within us for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the big challenges of any navigating the clickety-clack moment, and of course we could have multiple of them throughout our lives, is the unexpectedness of it, right? Like we may not see it coming. And so it's like a curveball or the rug getting pulled out from under us, and we think, oh my goodness, what do I do now? This horrible thing has happened. And in that moment, we're not recognizing the opportunity. Here we are today being able to speak to it from the hindsight position, right? Being able to reflect back and go, yeah, but it helped me with all these things, which is so all true. And what do you think helps a person to be able, in the moment that something's happening, they didn't expect it, they might be freaking out, to sort of tap back into, oh, that's right. This is going to help me. This is an opportunity. This is a growth moment. What do you think can help a person in that moment?
I've got a little tip I'd love to share that's really about using the space when you're not in the clickety-clack to develop the practices that will support you so they become more automatic when you find yourself in that moment that curveball hits.
Yeah.
And actually something that I'd love to just piggyback off Michelle's, I love that analogy of the beach ball, and Steph's talking about being able to change our perspective and rewrite the algorithm, is the topic of judgment. And we're kind of conditioned within society to take experiences and place them in a box that is good and a box that is labeled bad. And in truth, none of them are those things. They just are experiences. The perspective of good or bad depends on, how you relate to them. So developing that awareness and sort of moving out of that space of labeling is so helpful when stuff comes up. And, and as I say, it's something that you can start doing right here, right now, whether you're in the clickety-clack or not. And in fact, it's easier to develop that practice when you're at peace already. So it becomes a bit more automatic when you're in that clickety-clack situation.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic share. And I just have to refer to, I'm looking for a video clip, but I don't find it. So Katie, I'm going to just say that was a mic drop moment right there.
Hey, while you're looking for that, I wanted to chime in because it excited me so much. Okay, that was a mic drop moment. And the beauty of it, when in that moment, just as you described, practicing, right? That wonderful practicing, whether we're at peace or what have you, but practicing. For me, the terminology that keeps coming forward is that alignment with the source of life, whatever practice it is, alignment with the source of life. That source of life knows that all is well and that always is. And that source of life actually sees everything that is happening and sees both the negative, the positive, and the essence of it, which is meaningless, right? So just what you said to me helps you align with that source of life, and you're actually bringing your quality of thinking, like the way you choose to think, in like taking away, instead of judging this way or that way, choosing differently, and because of the quality of thought that you choose, that informs the quality of your experience. And most of us have this wonderful conditioned way of responding and thinking that it's almost like it's the programming or the algorithm, like Steph said. It's so subconscious, right? But when something goes unexpected, it roars up, or some of it gets exposed. It's that in that moment, having that ability to bring ourselves into alignment with the source of life, that's what the practices are. So whether it's what Katie just said, whether it's something else that helps us get to this place where we can expand the awareness and we can choose a higher quality of thought, that to me helps you navigate and find the peace in the challenge. Or here's the other part that has been brought up a lot, or create harmony in whatever way that looks like, whether it's acceptance of the fear, whether it's acceptance of the pain, and then letting go of the judgment, and then transcending suffering, which I've experienced. That's the most amazing thing to me, that we can actually accept pain without judgment and not suffer, or whatever that needs to look like. The practices are the key. So thank you, Katie, for talking about your practice and that beautiful non-judgment practice. That excites me a lot.
That was so
thank
good.
you, John.
I found it. So for everyone's and all your awesome remarks so far.
Kim, we just need you following us around while we impact the world. Just reminding us you're fabulous. Oh, mic drop moment. Like, that's what we need.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the clickety-clack? You just have Kim O'Neill follow you around with some awesome drops.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are sharing so many good nuggets, and I like that we added in this element of when it happens, we don't typically expect it. And so what I hear you guys speaking to is preparing and practicing new skills ahead of time, so that they are the norm. They are the go-to when everything, all blank breaks loose, right? Just like, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the purpose of life. Practice, right? Like my purpose is to just to be okay, so there's no competition in my mind. There's no competition. I'm not in competition with anyone except for the self I was yesterday. If I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday, and I'll tell you, it was pretty awesome yesterday. So it's practice, and we get to do that through. We can read 1,000 books. We can watch all the things. If we aren't putting this material into practice, if we aren't putting these amazing tips that Katie's giving us into practice, then we're going to bump up against, stand on the rake, and it's going to hit us in the face again and again and again. Because if we aren't learning from the depths of us, if we aren't practicing who we are becoming, why are we here? right? That's my question. So read a book. Yes. What did that book teach you? Ralph Waldo Emerson, he had a comment every time he would meet his friends. And I mean, his friends were David Henry Thoreau. I mean, they were not having lame conversations, right? He would ask in the beginning of an introduction or having a conversation, what has been made more clear to you since last we've met? What if we ask ourselves that every day? Like, what has been made more clear about myself? Where's my values? Where are my boundaries? Where am I navigating in my life? Who am I becoming today? Am I following through on who I say I am? That's the beauty and the richness of life. And so, yes, we're going to bump into things, but if we prepare ourselves, if we learn how to organize our thoughts in times of crisis, if we learn how to be in difficult conversations, or how to sit in our uncomfortability on a not so uncomfortable day, it gets easier. We're building our mental muscle. We're building up our spirit muscle. We're building up the strength of who we are in this world. So when things happen that are a little more next level, it's time to level up. I've gotten everything. I've practiced here. I'm a video game player, so we make sure our bags are packed, and we've got our storage, and we've got our energy filled, and we're well rested before we take the next adventure. So just learn who you are. Learn so much about yourself that the navigating is just simply standing in the river and going with the flow.
I love that you added in purpose to this, and I'm giving it one of these, Steph.
That one was mine.
What does everyone else think about challenges, the clickety-clack, and how it connects to a bigger picture, such as our purpose?
Well, I might just add on that it is so individual. Like having the courage to navigate the clickety-clack is so individual for each person. So you don't know what your gift is going to be until you take the journey and face whatever it is that's arising. But it will be worth it. That I could guarantee. It has been that way for me over and over and over. And it's always just mind-blowing, worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Purpose on two levels too. I'll say that the unique expression of the purpose, like what we're being called to, and who we're to step in to be, and then purpose on this overarching part of the way I hear it. And I say the way I hear it because when I tune in, I'm listening and I'm hearing these things, right? The way I hear it on the second level is, or this overarching level is something that we all share, and that's the remembering of who we are, and to actually begin to choose and express that limitless love and light that we are, like at our essence. Like we all have that shared purpose, but it looks different at the second level, right? So I think during the clickety-clack, I think the perfect ingredients, we all get the perfect ingredients. It's just accessing the head chef to find out the recipe.
Ooh, love that.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
I want to share a quick clip from Michele, and then we're going to continue the conversation.
Hi, I'm Michele Griffith. I am a contributing author to Navigating the Clickety-Clack. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I love the idea that we can use all of these mental health concepts to enhance our well-being and create a quality life and really make our heart dreams come true. And this doesn't happen overnight. It is a daily practice. And so what can we do today to move the needle forward? I'm so glad we're in this conversation.
I love that. Michele, did you want to elaborate and add anything to that?
I guess this conversation has reflected so much of what I intended, that I'm just so tickled to be a part of this conversation.
I think it's a very common human thing to sort of leap to a conclusion of, oh my goodness, this clickety-clack is happening. I don't currently feel like I have the answer, and everything is just like ended, or it's over, or there's no getting back to like a space of peace. But what I hear you all saying is we're talking about developing our abilities and implementing certain tools and practices so that we are peace as we move into the challenges, and that's what helps us also get through them. Does that resonate with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I'd love to just speak more on what John was saying about the levels of purpose. And something that I keep coming back to a lot is this idea that when we were all individuated from Source, that was with the purpose of Source understanding itself. And we're all kind of microcosms of that. We're here to understand ourselves. And in order to understand what you are, you also need to understand what you are not. It's that polarity. So viewed from that aspect, the clickety-clack, which gives you the opportunity to go, this is uncomfortable, therefore this is what I am not, is as much of a gift as those peaceful moments where you feel great and go, this is what I am. And it's the dance between the two that allows you to tune in and, as others have said, make the choices to really discover more deeply who you are by navigating both angles.
Yeah,
I love that. And just to add on to that a little bit, is that celebrate those rememberings, right? When we learn something about ourselves, or we've come through something, we forget how powerful that moment was almost instantaneously sometimes. And to just celebrate, to take a moment to say, look how far I've come, look at what I just did. That a younger version of me would not have taken that with such stride and grace. Look it. And we can remember that. Celebrate who you are. You are a piece of the divine. And I love that. Thanks, Katie.
Oh, thank you, Steph. Because remembering to celebrate is something that I'm currently working on doing, because as you say, we kind of skip through those moments and straight on to the next thing, but it's powerful. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah. Next project. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. What's next? Yeah.
And speaking of celebrate, I'm going to celebrate you all. Some of these great questions I wrote down. How can this help me grow? What has become clearer to me? What can we do today to move the needle forward? And the great tips I'm celebrating. Breathing, exploring the moment, inquiring, and celebrating. So thank you.
Yes. Well,
we can put that in a song.
Yes. The publisher and the producer of the Navigating the Clickety-Clack TV series and book series, he also had a few words to add to today's show. So we're going to hear a quick message from him and continue on.
By now, I'm sure that you've already heard what the Clickety-Clack is, but I was asked to share with you what it means to me. To me, I'm so incredibly grateful because the whole concept of navigating the Clickety-Clack was brought to me by one of our first business mentors. His name was Fletch Rainey, and he has since passed away. And so to be able to take something that he taught us that made such a profound difference in our lives, and then now we have 4 volumes of a book by the same name that have touched hundreds of thousands of lives, and then to be able to do a TV show based on that as well. And now it's going to be on TV and streaming services and make a difference to the masses. It's just nothing short of a miracle to me. I'm just so incredibly grateful and hope that its message blesses you as it did me. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Or
so
fabulous.
Fabulous. Yes. Yeah. So for anybody who is enjoying this conversation and maybe feeling inspired or hopeful, liking what you hear, then, stay tuned. You might want to at some point, look online for more of it to be discovered. The TV series is upcoming. And so we don't have a date for that, but just putting that out there. So there's more to come on this. We are nearing the end of today's conversation. I would love to just go around and get final thoughts from each of you. What does this boil down to for you? What do you want to leave the audience with?
I'll pop on real quick.
Yeah.
So throughout this conversation, just continue to be reminded that there is this incredible, infinite essence of what we are that is loving, that is infinitely intelligent, and that is actually expressing as us. And if we use what life brings, it will help us realize we're an extension of it in the parts we play and in the whole of life. And so that to me brings so much peace no matter what's going on. And I use something called align, allow, let go to help me do it in any moment. That simple code came to me in 2006 and I share it with people. So I wanted to share it here.
Love that, John. Thank you. And
so I could go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone told me a long time ago when I was in the Clickety-Clack that I was actually being nudged, and that there was a space to really consider the possibilities rather than to get lost in things aren't working right. This isn't as I expected. And I really liked that word, that it's a human experience to be nudged, to go to the next level, as what's been talked about before. And I really appreciate being a part of this conversation.
Oh, I'm glad you're a part of it, Michele. Thank you for sharing everything that you've shared. Yeah. Katie, how about you? What would you like to leave everyone with?
Well, yeah, I mean, a reflection that how wonderful it's been to be part of a group that's sharing wisdom, and how lovely that would be to take that out, all of us, into the world, to see the commonalities between us and the wisdom that we share rather than focusing on the differences. And really, like, the biggest practice is to tune in to what is authentically you. So everyone watching this today has had so many different tips, or same tips from different perspectives, and all of them are beautiful, right, perfect. Some of them will resonate more with you than others. So just tune into what feels good to you and become the most authentic version of who you are, and you can't go far wrong then.
Oh, love that, Katie. Totally agree. Steph, how about you?
Oh, it's just always such a fabulous experience to be with you, Kim, and in all the opportunity. And now I got to make some new friends and be a part of this delicious and amazing conversation. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. And I just, in the grand scheme of things, everything's always going to be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing we thank you all for sharing and of course being here today. And thank you to today's audience. One thing we didn't get to yet, and I want to make sure we get that in here, is a recognition for everyone in our Purple Hearts Club. And so we'll be right back to close up the show, but let's take a moment for this. All right. Well, that was our show today. I'm going to go ahead and end, I guess, a minute early. Gosh, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because I was all afraid we were. So, yeah, just thank you to everyone being here today. Thank you to you out in the audience, and let us know in the comments, what are you taking away from today's conversation? I wanted to say that earlier. I felt like you guys were speaking to that about, what did I really learn here? And I'm a big proponent that whenever I go through something challenging, it's like, okay, this may have been uncomfortable. It may not have had, you know, the most high vibrational, good feelings, but by golly, I'm going to walk away with something, and that'll be the lesson. That'll be the growth. And it requires us to do that work, but it's such a gift that pays forward for ourselves and for all those that you are connected with. So we'll leave you with that, and we're going to close out. Bye for now, everybody.
Thank you.